welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm your host, Maureen, and we are joined here tonight with Amanda.
Hello.
Tiffany.
Hello.
And Jeanette.
Hey, guys.
And today we are talking Vampire Diaries, Season 3. We were going to do Season 3 last time, but that would have been like a 7-hour long podcast, so we split up the seasons just for you.
We can't just talk. We can't talk 2 seasons in one podcast. We talk too much.
So we open on Season 3 with a really scary scene. And it is Stefan as the way I hate Stefan.
Oh,
Yeah, it was those girls sitting up on the couch and like blood everywhere in the room.
okay. See, I love that.
No, I'm
for Stefan.
I'm over here. Am I such a weirdo that I like started smiling when you were like talking about that scene? Like, I love it.
No, me too.
What do you love about it?
I love seeing Ripper Stefan.
I don't know. He's so much more interesting when he's
like he's
that.
mean and he's violent. I like that when Damon walks in there, he's like, Damon has this very Damon-like look on his face when he walks into rooms like that. Like it's borderline proud, sort of amused, kind of repulsed, trying to hide all these things at once.
Yep.
It's a very odd facial expression you get.
I love it because he wants to smile. He's like, oh, this is Stefan. He knows immediately. And when he kicks her foot, it just falls off. I shouldn't be laughing over this, but I know it's fake, guys.
I think it's gross. I hate it. It's you guys that are the weirdos that are in love with it.
Yeah.
But I like that Elena was like, how do you know it's Stefan? He's like, didn't you ever wonder why they call him the Ripper? This is his signature. Like,
and also, I think is it the same episode that, yeah, it's around the same episodes around where he's throwing darts into what's his face from Seventh Heaven's face.
Yeah.
What's his face from Seventh Heaven?
Yeah, David Gallagher.
Who?
Yeah.
David Gallagher.
He's the werewolf that they go find. And
I didn't realize it was him.
It's Simon from Seventh Heaven.
Simon. Yeah. Shut up.
It is.
Oh, it is. Look, I'll look a picture. I'll show you right now.
I didn't even catch that.
David Gallagher in Vampire Diaries. It's faster that way, guys. I promise.
As Damon is explaining why it's a signature, he says something along the lines of, he rips them apart, but then he feels remorse. Then he sets it up like people again. He's from Seventh Heaven? Wow.
He grew up very handsome, didn't he?
It's weird for me to think of him as growing up handsome because I know him as a little boy.
He's an adult.
Yeah, I know who he is. I know who David Gallagher is, but I didn't. That doesn't even look like him.
Is that facial hair?
Maybe that's what it is. And also no more like white blonde hair.
See, I had to look it up because I immediately saw his face and I was like, okay, I know him. How do I know him? Where do I know him?
Connect that dot at all.
And I had to look it up and I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw it. But yeah, that's another one of my favorite parts is Klaus and Stefan throwing darts into his face.
See, now that's the whole reason I don't like Klaus, because he's the one who turns Damon into Ripper.
Hey.
Yeah, you can't say those things.
Hey. Big Klaus fan here.
Elijah fan.
Oh?
I thought you were an Elijah fan.
No, that's
Me.
Jeanette.
I'm a Klaus fan too, though. I just like Elijah better.
I love Elijah as well. But Klaus and Damon are like side by side for me.
Tiffany, are you a fan of either one of them?
I like Elijah and Damon. They're my favorites.
If I like them, Tiffany likes them. We have the same taste in men.
It's true. Oh yeah, you like the insane ones.
Mm-hmm.
Where your life is actually in jeopardy when you're around them.
Not me.
Not with Elijah.
Klaus?
Elijah's good. He's good.
Come on. Klaus is very temperamental.
Hey, actually, honestly, any Michelson will protect their woman.
Yeah, if they care about
if they like you, you're safe. I'm
That's
fine
true.
with Klaus or Elijah.
I will admit that I like Elijah. But it's because he just seems more noble than the rest of them.
He is, but that's why he's known as the noble one.
Mm-hmm.
And well, that's something that his mom says to him in this point. And she says, even you, the noble one, are just like the others, basically.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
what she says to him.
Yeah.
And then when Rebecca is saying, we're so much better than them, and Elijah says, but are we? Mother made us vampires, but she didn't make us monsters. We did that to ourselves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I really actually do like Elijah a lot.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got a really dark history, but he's kind of good in
Jeanette?
like present time. What?
Shh.
I'm just
He's
saying.
noble
need to
and
keep
he
watching.
is good and he is decent.
Oh, I forget she doesn't know. Okay, yeah. Never mind then. He's
You
bad.
got to keep watching.
I have to try to find a way time to watch what my kids aren't around, which is becoming increasingly difficult.
Oh, you know what I do? I watch on my phone and I put my headphones on
I
and I yell
cannot
at
watch
anybody
things
that
on my
comes
phone.
around me.
Well, that's what I do too.
I can't
Otherwise,
watch
I would
things. It's too
I would
tiny.
never get to watch TV. Like it would never happen.
My headphones go on, my phone goes like this,
Mhm.
and I'm like, everybody leave me alone.
But I let my kids watch Vampire Diaries, so
My kids watch it too.
My kids will not be watching this.
they like it.
Mine's only 3, so
Well, see,
yeah, if it
mine's
was just Nora and I
obsessed
at
But
with
it's only
Twilight.
5. It's not much different.
My kids love Twilight, so I don't feel like Vampire Diaries is.
Okay. Twilight's a little less gruesome than Vampire Diaries is.
I don't know.
And it's a little, the vampires sparkle, Amanda. It's a whole different sort of vampire.
No,
See, for me,
like Vampire
it's not-
Diaries vampires better than I like Twilight
Yeah.
vampires, but you got to realize Twilight's a huge thing in my house because I was that girl who was on at every single midnight opening of a Twilight movie. I was there at 7 p.m. Oh yeah, and I had my Team Edward shirt on. I mean, you guys know my kids' names are Emmett and Jacob. My cat
True.
is Edward. My dog was Bella. My new cat is Rose.
I did
Rosalie.
that for New Moon. Like we made group t-shirts and showed up.
Yeah, I did on every one, but
See, I don't worry about the violence. I don't know. It's the sex in Vampire Diaries that I try to hide them from.
That
the violence,
too.
the
There's-
violence I don't worry about so much because
Yeah.
they don't care about that. I don't know, like that doesn't bother them.
My kids get afraid very easily,
Mm.
which turns into nightmares.
Oh.
And I mean, I think
yeah.
fear is a very real thing. And I
Yeah.
have a spiritual connotation for that.
Mm.
But
oh, yeah, if they're like that, then absolutely not.
Yeah.
My
but
kids
do you-
watch.
Do you thought
scary
of them
things.
watching someone bite into someone's neck until they're dead? That's not really an image I want them to have in their head before they go to bed.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
not share my love of horror movies. So
See, horror is
too
not
much
allowed
like
in our
their
house.
mother.
Yeah, like at I mean, I've only recently, ever since I got a little bit older, I didn't let them watch when they were really young, but when they
Yeah.
got older, we watched. If they ask, now I don't let them watch it by themselves.
Mhm.
They have to watch it with me, and then like if something inappropriate comes on, I like fast forward it, or
Yeah.
I pause it and say like close your eyes or something.
Yeah.
So
We watch spookier stuff in the daytime too, so that it's not close to bedtime. Like I don't ever let them
Yeah.
watch it like if it's real close to bedtime.
no, absolutely.
So there's also in this first episode where Elena talks to her friends about the Damon kiss that they had in season 2.
Mhm.
That was the first kiss in season 2. And
Yep.
then in this season, they had a rather intense makeout scene at the hotel.
They do.
Oh, that was my favorite.
Oh,
That's
the
my
best.
go-to episode.
I didn't know
Me
where
too.
to like avert my eyes.
Straight
watch
at
it.
them.
I know.
Straight at them.
Exactly. Don't take your eyes off of it. No.
And pause and rewind.
Rewind.
I've definitely seen this episode more than any of the others.
I just look it up on YouTube.
I don't know.
Like
I've seen-
just that clip. I just search that clip and I watch it on YouTube sometimes.
Mine's season 4 that I watch over and over and over again is the first time Damon and Elena. That whole
I like that
episode.
too.
I love that. You have Miss Mystic Falls that episode. Stefan is no, we're gonna talk about season 4, but
No, we're not.
we'll get there.
We're in season
We'll get
3.
there. I'll talk about that next episode.
So what I think is interesting about that scene is after they make out very heavily, and the only reason they stopped is because Jeremy appeared. Elena looks at Damon and says,
But Jeremy-
Stefan thinks I still have feelings for you. And he says, do you? And her response is, I don't know what I feel. Ugh. She gets real annoying with that in this season.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
real
Yeah.
annoying with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although
she does.
in the final episode of season 4, she tells Damon, I care for you, so I have to let you go.
No.
And then tells Stefan, no, don't save me, save Matt. Like, what was the point of
Don't
So
save
stupid.
Matt. Yeah.
Save
Did
Matt.
you say don't save
Why would
Matt?
you? Why would you save Matt? Ugh.
Drove me insane. You know, I wanted Elena to turn into a vampire. Honestly, I did from like day one. I wanted her to, and that's the only thing I really did not like about. Well, there's a couple things I did not like about the show. This is one of my favorite shows, but there are a few things I did not like. And Elena turning into a vampire, and then everything that happens after that. That's when I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah.
But I liked other aspects of the show there in the whole time, but there's just a few things that I would definitely change that we'll talk more about when we get there.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
I don't want to give too much away, so we'll get there. But
Dr. Fell, speaking of Elena turning into a vampire, Dr. Fell has some weird moral issues. She says to Alaric at one point, the whole vampire thing, that's not my thing. I'm not into that. I just use their blood to do what I do. But doesn't that make the vampire thing your thing?
Yeah.
Because what if one of your patients die, you idiot? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
I get you have a hero complex, you got a god complex, you're gonna save people with this, but if they die, you're really just turning them into homicidal killing vampires. This is actually the first episode is when Damon finds Stefan, and then Stefan has Andy walk off a rafter.
Oh,
I
I
hated
hated
that.
that.
That's in this first episode.
That
I
that
think
was
it
hard for me to really forgive Stefan for.
I think
Yeah.
that was the end of Damon trying to help out Stefan.
Yeah.
And Stefan's like,
Absolutely.
nope, all done. We're all done here.
And I really liked Auntie. I mean, I just thought she was a really nice, I don't know. I liked her a lot.
I
So,
honestly didn't remember her.
I mean, obviously I always wanted Damon and Elena
did.
together, but I thought she was a nice, like, placeholder. I mean, he seemed to have a good time with her and seemed to,
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it.
I liked it too.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously I wanted him with Elena, but
Yeah.
I
For the
did like
time
her as a
being.
filler.
I agree.
Okay, so you're gonna have to help me understand this note. I said, Caroline kisses Tyler this time. Damon tells Elena he's tracking Stefan's victims. Tyler and Caroline take the next step. Stefan calls Elena Mrs. Lockwood and tricks Caroline and shoots her with vamp tranks.
So yeah, Mrs.
You just ran it all together. It's supposed to be two different sentences.
Two different scenes. So is it Mrs. Lockwood who?
Miss
Yeah, Miss Lockwood
yeah.
shoots Caroline,
She
right?
shoots Caroline. Yeah.
Because that's right. When they wake up after they do their thing, Caroline's trying to get out of the house,
Mhm.
and that's right before Daddy Phil comes in, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that man's an a-hole.
Oh,
I don't like him.
bad.
I
So
think where I
bad.
got confused is because I thought we talked about this in the last episode.
We started to, but
We-
remember we were trying to
We
do
hopped
two
around.
last time.
Unfortunately.
So we did kind of pass over it, but we didn't talk extensively about it. So how did you guys feel about Tyler and Caroline finally?
I love
I
it.
love them.
I
I
love
did
Tyler
too.
and Caroline.
And
did
in
My
the
favorite ship for her. I mean, I
Mhm.
like them a lot.
Yeah.
and in the end of the season, when he thinks he's gonna die, like I'm jumping around, but I'm still jumping within season 3. When he thinks that he's gonna die because Klaus has been killed, and he tells her to get out, don't watch me die, and she says, "No, I'm not going anywhere." And he's like, "No, you have to run." And it was just like, it was so heartbreaking because she was sobbing and she thought he was gonna die, and it was after they reconnected again. It just, why does he only come back right before he gets taken away? I don't understand it.
They really ruined his character.
Mhm.
They did. He had a really good character kind of
Mhm.
building up and going.
Yeah.
And I feel like they
Yeah.
just went the complete opposite direction that
Yeah.
they should have gone.
And I know you all haven't seen, I mean, whenever you get to the originals, you'll see, I mean,
Oh,
I hated Tyler. I mean, they really mess him up. They take all of his character development and just throw
Yes.
it out the window. That's pretty bad.
He's in the originals?
yeah.
Season 1, he's in there, right?
A lot of them you'll see in the originals, like not every episode, but
It crosses over
it does
quite a
cross
bit.
over.
And Klaus even sired him for a while, and Klaus is an original, so
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't he sired? Doesn't he get sired in season 3?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he's unsired by season 4.
Right.
Well, he's unsired at the end of season 3.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. I wasn't
But
sure.
we don't know how. At least
Okay.
not that I can see. It says it in the final episode when they're
Yeah.
at that decade dance.
Mhm.
Or is it the second to last episode? And Tyler says, I hate him. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And she said, what were you supposed to do? And he's like, well, I'm not sired by you and him anymore. Then he said, how much he hates Klaus now and then he confronts Klaus. So
Yeah.
They'll tell you in season 4 how he became unsired.
well, he's still sired by him, but he is no longer bound by him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Which thankfully
Mhm.
I didn't like when Klaus did that.
No.
No.
And that kind of leads into the episode 2 where Alaric tells Elena that Stefan and Klaus have been tracking werewolves.
Yes.
Because Klaus obviously has an agenda to make the hybrid
Army.
And that happens in season 4, doesn't it? Because in season 3, Klaus is standing over his mother's coffin saying, I will build myself an army so that the next time you come, you can never touch me.
Yeah, he does it.
Because season 3 is the last one I see.
Okay, yeah. So season 4. Yeah. He does do it. I mean, the last, but
Right. I'm like,
don't worry. Start watching the originals and Klaus will redeem himself.
well, it's after season 4 that the originals starts, correct? Yeah.
Yes. In between, I think it's in between, or it's
they
in
do
the middle of 4.
They do the pilot, the backdoor pilot, as one of the episodes.
And
And
4,
then-
right?
And then after season 4 ends is when you see originals actually begin.
Yeah.
So there's something else that they do too. Stefan and Klaus, they try to work magic with the wolves, but something goes wrong and they start bleeding from their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Do we know exactly what went wrong there? Because I can't remember.
Yes. Okay, you're gonna have to give me a
Elena
minute.
was alive still.
Mhm. Is that what the problem was? Was that Elena was alive?
Yeah, that's right. Because the spell wasn't completely.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
because
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And Tyler's mom has no idea that he's a werewolf. That there's
Yeah.
that in their family whatsoever. So when she's taking out Caroline, she thinks she's doing this big service. She thinks that
Mhm.
she's this really super smart woman to have figured it all out. And it just
Yeah. I was proud of her though, like how she handled when she did find out. Because I was really afraid of which way that was going to go, if she was
Me
going
too.
to, be like Caroline's dad and be all crazy, but she was really supportive. So
Yep.
still don't like her.
I think I did after that, because then I was like, okay, I mean, she's not a bad person.
Who is she? Oh, she plays in Teen Wolf too.
And she's Lydia's mom.
Hey.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I've seen her in another show.
Yeah.
Another wolf. She can't get away from having wolves as sons.
Oh yeah, I didn't even put the two together.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's from Teen Wolf too.
This is also the weird episode where Vicky appeals to Jeremy and Anna
Oh.
tells him not to trust her. Like it just,
Yes.
that whole
I did not like the ghost
thing
thing.
is just
No.
stupid.
Yeah, I did not like the ghost thing. I didn't like Vicky coming back. I didn't like the ghost world. I didn't like any of it.
No, it's all done.
Same thing with Grey's Anatomy. I didn't like it when Ghost Denny came back either. So
Yeah.
I don't like the ghost characters coming back. It's just so far-fetched.
I liked Anna. I could have done without Vicky.
I liked Anna when she was not dead.
Live.
I still liked her as a ghost, but that's because I wanted her and Jeremy. I liked them together. So
Because she was getting in by Bonnie's way, and that just I liked Bonnie and Jeremy.
I did too.
I did
I
too,
liked
yeah.
them. Yeah.
So that I didn't like her interfering herself in somewhere that would it wasn't going anywhere.
I know.
I mean, what was he hoping for here? Talk to a dead person for
Didn't he
years?
cheat on Bonnie with dead Vicky?
He kissed Anna,
Anna.
right?
Anna.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
we,
I did not like that part.
it's a show about,
The
vampires.
supernatural, and
Yeah,
there's,
so
I mean, it's all about supernatural, and so the
ghosts aren't
ghosts,
that far fetched from all of this,
it's not. It's really not. I don't. I'm not saying it's like as bad the thing that they did. I
Yeah,
don't like the way they did it. I don't
think
like
it's
the way
stupid.
they did it.
I didn't
I
mind
don't like
it.
Jeremy falling in love with a ghost. I'm like, what is that?
Like,
Stop
there's
it.
not enough real girls into Jeremy that he's gotta make out with ghosts.
His time with Anna was cut short, so I don't blame him.
But he's got Bonnie now.
I know.
Bonnie's way better than Anna.
I like them together too. I was really torn during that whole period of time.
I
Or
feel like
Jeremy,
the two people who
still
get kicked
single.
around the most in the show are Bonnie and Jeremy.
Oh, for sure.
Like, there's not a single time that I can think of where either one of them gets good news.
I know.
It's just like
They both just.
oh, you like this person? Okay, she's dead.
And it only gets worse for poor Bonnie. So
I know.
It's well, even with her. Oh, you met this guy that you like, and it's the first guy you've liked. Oh, Caroline just ate him. Like it's just every time. I think that's why I like them together, because though all of their partners are killed in some horrific way, or their family members or what have you, those two are apparently very resilient. So
Yep.
if they could just fall in love with each other, then they won't die.
Mm.
So that's my logic.
Who knows?
Let's see what else happens.
Did like Vicky's line when Matt could finally see her, and he said, "You'd be back as a vampire, or you'd be back as a ghost." And she said, "In a town full of vampires, werewolves, and witches."
Exactly. It's not that weird.
I don't know why I don't like it so much. I don't like it.
That's not the last time you see. You'll see more people coming over from the other side from here and there. So
Yeah.
just be ready.
Okay, so I do
Just
have a
because somebody dies doesn't mean that they're actually going to be gone forever.
Nope.
Now, was Esther actually dead? Because I thought she was just immobilized when she was in the coffin.
She was just immobilized, right?
Because
No.
she said that every time Alaric died, she was right there to nurture him and help him along. So
She
then
was
dead?
no, she was dead. She was dead. I think they just had her body. Like they didn't consecrate her body like they normally would with witches. So I think they just had her body, right?
Well, how
she
did
definitely-
she come back then? I
she
know it's
definitely was
explained in
dead.
here,
She
but
was a
it's-
witch.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how it worked because she definitely was dead because Klaus thought he killed. He killed her.
well, that was the one coffin they couldn't open, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it took Bonnie to open it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
I know. I can't remember how they pulled that off, but
Bonnie
she
has
was
come a long
dead.
way from, look, I'm a witch. I make feathers
with
float.
her feathers.
Let's revive vampires that have been dead for hundreds of years.
Mm-hmm.
Flash forward to a year later, she's opening up century-old caskets.
She's a Bennett witch.
Oh, she's so awesome. I love Bonnie. Love Bonnie.
All right,
All right.
so Klaus seeks help to make hybrids, and Stefan listens in on as Damon and Klaus knew each other in Chicago. And I don't think Stefan knew that little tidbit.
No, he did not.
I think that was
Well,
surprising to him.
He didn't remember it because he was compelled not to remember it.
And that's when he meets Rebecca. That's when Damon met Rebecca. And when Stefan met Rebecca. That's the scene where Stefan and Rebecca would make out and then eat the guy and then make out and then eat the guy. And like, that was their thing.
They had so much in common. I love Rebecca. So
they had the same likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
Like B positive wasn't their preferred.
they were a good couple,
I love Rebecca though.
I do too.
Oh my gosh.
It was sad for me when they killed Klaus, or they thought they killed Klaus because Klaus went into Tyler.
Mhm.
I'm still puzzling that one out. But
Magic.
how sad Rebecca is when she goes to tell Elijah that Alaric killed Klaus, and there was nothing she could do. She was just so devastated. I don't even think she was that sad when Finn was killed.
Well, that's because nobody cares about Finn.
That one lady did.
But
Sadie,
you know
was that her
what?
name?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about her.
Who cares about Finn?
But see, Finn has been like, he's been like daggered for a lot longer than the rest of them. So like Elijah, Rebecca, and Klaus are, I mean, they're the whole always and forever. I mean, like they've been together like forever.
Finn and Cole.
Cole was there for a while, but he got put away several times too.
He was Cole appeared in season 3 towards the end. When they went to the hotel. It's like, so my brother told me you were trying to find out who sired you. Well, see, she was a bit of a originals groupie.
Yep.
We don't know if it was Klaus. There's a little Rebecca in there. There's a little Elijah in there. He's crazy.
He is.
I like him a little too. Unhinged. I knew you would. I knew seeing that scene. That was what I thought the whole time is Jeanette must really like this guy.
Yeah.
No, see, I did not like Cole in the Vampire Diaries. I like Cole in the originals.
The originals, yeah. He is crazy though, and I find him amusing. I mean, it's the same thing with Kai Parker, which I know we don't know yet, but
I laughed
find him
when
amusing.
He was talking about the dead person hanging from the wall.
Oh, that you laugh about, but you don't laugh about the head rolling around the floor.
It's because it was Ripper Stefan, and I don't like Ripper Stefan.
Oh, Ripper Stefan.
The reason I laughed is because of how Cole was talking about her as a vampire groupie. It was funny.
It was funny. I agree with you.
Off topic. Well, not off topic, but probably not for a podcast. You'll have to, like, I don't know if you know much about the actor that plays Cole.
Mm-mm.
Like, it's quite, I mean, he's nothing like Cole. I mean, he's like, I think you would really enjoy a lot of his stuff, honestly. Like, he's like very religious. He's like Christian. He's been like to Israel. He makes all these posts like about the Bible and talking about you. Yeah. I think you would really enjoy
we follow him on Instagram.
Yes.
I've read a lot of his stuff.
And on TikTok. So it's just funny to see him in the role as Cole. Which I don't think he found this religion until after the original, but
that would make sense.
Which Cole is in Vampire Diaries?
Do what?
Which Cole is in Vampire Diaries? Which actor?
Oh, Nathaniel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was looking on our Instagram page and I saw that and I was like, ooh, what is this? Like, wait, why are we following you? Who are you? And then I looked it up. I was like, Vampire Diaries, what?
Yeah.
That can't be right.
Yeah. So it's pretty, I don't know. It's just such a different personality. I don't know.
Well, thank God, because I'd hate to have a
That's
vampire.
the one I like.
That's the one I like too.
Who's that?
That's Cole.
That's Witch Cole, which we can't explain. He plays Cole for a little while.
In the original.
Esther brings back, there's also another Finn. Esther brings herself, Finn, and Cole back.
Why did she bring them back if she wanted to kill them all?
Because she puts them into bodies of witches so that they're no longer vampires, and she's like saving them basically. She wants to do the same
so they'll die
too.
as witches.
Yeah, so they're no longer monsters. They're back to being,
because there's never been a bad witch.
Right.
Well, they're originally rich witches because the mom was a witch.
Yeah.
Esther was a witch before they were ever.
Yes, but what Elijah says is she only turned us into vampires, not monsters. We did that.
Yeah.
So coming back as witches, I mean, there's no guarantee that you aren't also going to become a monster.
Exactly.
That bloodline also has Michael in them.
But yeah, so he plays Cole for a while, which I like him like that too.
Yeah.
He was also back a different Finn. Like, is it a different actor?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then that makes more sense.
Yeah.
If only one was a different actor, that would be stupid.
No, they're both, because they're in different bodies, so they're not supposed to look like, because they're vampire bodies. They can't go back into those.
Yeah. So it's good. I promise, it's good.
It's so good, actually.
The originals, honestly, is better than the Vampire Diaries.
It's a lot better.
Storylines.
It just sounds like a lot of why I stopped reading the Vampire Diaries.
Oh, you should never read the Vampire Diaries.
Oh, I know. I got through like book 6, I think.
Ooh.
And only because I was trying to force myself to finish it out. And I don't even think I finished book 6. I was like, I can't keep doing this. This is nonsense.
I feel like there's a lot more witches, like stuff with witches.
There's a whole lot more nonsense.
But it's like in the originals, there's a whole lot more
Oh.
witches. But it's because they're in New Orleans, which
Well, also the original is a witch.
Yeah.
The one who created all vampires is witch.
Mhm.
All right, so they're in Chicago. My note says Klaus is clearly hiding something.
Wonder what it is.
Yeah, I think at this point in season 3, because this is only episode 3, I think he was hiding like all the bodies of his family and what he wanted with them and what could kill them. I think that's what he was hiding at that point still.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's right. I forgot the necklace Stefan gave to Elena belonged to Rebecca.
Yes, this is when we figure it out.
awkward. Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
awkward. Like, Stefan, do you do anything original? You like,
Right.
you
I mean,
like-
think about it. He doesn't
didn't
remember
remember.
that.
He doesn't remember.
Yeah.
Still weird that he gravitates towards Elena because she's Catherine. And then he gives her a necklace from his old eating buddy. Like, I just,
Eating buddy. I like eating buddy more.
that's all I can think of when I think of Stefan and Rebecca is them sharing a corpse. Just, ugh.
I like the Chicago,
I love that episode.
like
I
whenever
actually
shows,
really like that episode.
but I really loved the way they did it. Going back and like you see his wall. Oh, the wall.
With all the names on it.
With all the names on it.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he writes all of the names of all of his victims, Stefan does.
Oh, yeah.
And there's so many.
There's so many. And she's sitting there hiding in there. And it's just all she can read,
All of it, like-
is read those names. Of poor Elena. She's like, oh my gosh.
I mean, she saw what he did to the bodies. How are you surprised by this?
I don't know. It's a lot of names. I think I would be surprised too. It's a lot.
A lot of names.
Damon tried to tell her.
Well, she wasn't listening.
Even in this episode or in this season, it's towards the end when she's telling Stefan, you can't, when he comes back, and she's like, you can't do this. You can't pretend you don't feel anything. You care. And then he said, if I let myself care, all I feel is pain
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of all that.
I know.
See, I like brooding Stefan, who always remembers how much pain he caused people so he doesn't do it again.
I gotta ask though, since we're kind of, I don't want to get too far away. Whenever it's Elena's birthday and Stefan calls her, but he doesn't speak. Do you guys remember where I'm talking about? Okay.
Mhm. That's when Elena
Is-
tells Damon, Stefan called me, right?
Yeah.
Or Damon goes to
Is
go look
is
for
his humanity switch on or off?
Well, I think it was, he turned it on for Klaus to save Elena and to save Damon. Oh no, it wasn't to save Elena, it was to save Damon.
Mhm.
So I don't think he
Yeah.
wants to keep doing it, but I think that part of him feels like he has to. So I think he's coming back to himself because even in the midst of him being Ripper, he saves Damon from those wolves.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
whole reason Damon
And
refuses to
that's-
give up on him because no, he saved me. So he's not fully Ripper.
That's what I'm trying to think back and try to remember. Like, I can't remember if his switch was on or off or what. Maybe it was kind of, because I feel
think
like
it
they
was
couldn't like
slowly
really
being
go
turned
on and off, right? Or could he by now?
I think he
I don't-
probably can, but I don't think he was doing it
No,
with
because
Klaus.
Lexi, when she showed up as a ghost, had to torture him
Mhm.
to try and get
Oh,
his humanity switch to turn back on. So he can't
That's
do
right.
it that easily.
Yeah, I remember
But
that.
I think it's a will though. I don't think he wanted, I think he has to want to turn it on.
Well, yeah, they do. They have to want it. But I couldn't think because I was like, why would you call her if it was off? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because to me,
Yeah,
if
that's
it was
confusing.
if the humanity switch was off, then he wouldn't be thinking about calling Elena on her birthday.
Right.
I mean,
I don't know.
in my opinion.
No,
That
I
makes
agree.
sense. Yeah.
So in the beginning of season 3 is also when Stefan tries to tell Elena, I don't want you. I have
Yep.
nothing to do with you. You're not, and this is Elena has been chasing him. Elena has been trying to save him. And he tries to get her to turn to Damon. And he's like, I don't want you. This
Broke
is
my heart.
this is who I am now. This is what it is. I have no feelings for you. And then Damon tries to keep a close eye on Elena's emotional state, going to her house and making chili with her and doing all these sweet little things to try to cheer her up.
Yep.
and it's sucky chili. I like that Damon's like, listen, I was here the first time this chili came out, and it was sucky chili then too. It's like for the Founders Day chili cook-off or something.
Yeah.
That part cracked me up.
I gotta say, being around Damon for any length of time would probably cheer up my mood too. And not just because he's pretty, but he's funny.
He's funny. He is hilarious. There's so many Damon one-liners that are just amazing. That's why I love Damon.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started watching Vampire Diaries, I was totally Team Stefan.
So was I.
And then I turned really early. Like
Hello, brother. That's when I turned.
It's dangerous verbiage when you're talking about the Vampire Diaries.
I'm like, okay, when he said hello, brother, I knew that I was going to love Damon, but I was still like Team Stefan when it came to Elena.
Yes. I always, well, not always, but I'm usually thought Damon was amusing.
Yeah.
Almost always.
I loved him, but I didn't really see him with Elena until probably maybe only a few episodes in. I feel like it's longer in my head, but in all reality, it probably wasn't that long.
And honestly, I mean, she's basically with Stefan for 3 seasons, and then she's with Damon for 3 seasons, basically.
Yeah.
But she's just back and forth between them all the time.
Yep.
And
I don't understand it. No, Damon is her.
Yeah. I mean, once she makes her decision to Damon, for sure, it stays that way.
Yeah.
Well, Damon also says to her, I'm not Stefan. Stop trying to turn me into him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that was something she was doing when she first found out that, Damon or Stefan doesn't want to be around me.
Yep. And she was doing it. And
Even
that
Caroline asked her about switching Salvatore's.
Well, we know how that goes. So that night, I'm trying to think about that night. When they go into the woods to follow, so wherever Elena and Rick go after Stefan in the woods, whenever Klaus and him are changing or trying to make hybrids. That's one of my favorite episodes too.
Yeah.
And I love the Damon and Elena kind of flirting back and forth in that episode, because she's still with Stefan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like when you start seeing them kind of do that flirting thing back and forth. And there's so many good scenes in that.
And Damon, even when he was, even like season 1, he would openly flirt with Elena.
Oh yeah. He never hid that.
No.
It's the same thing with Catherine. Well, Catherine, I think he actually snuck around behind Stefan's back.
Yeah.
Elena, he's like, I'm not making that same mistake.
It's actually Catherine who gets Damon to agree to hunt the originals too.
Yep. Oh, Catherine. She's one of my favorites.
And it was Catherine who revived the Chicago police guy who was looking for Klaus, and Rebecca, who ended up being Michael. He ended up being Daddy Mickelson. I forget, what was her goal because he was a vampire hunter? Is that why she wanted to revive him? I forget why Catherine revived him.
No, they needed something from him. Yeah, because she wouldn't have just woken Michael up.
No, she doesn't do anything unless she gets something from it.
Yeah, it has to benefit her for sure.
It does. And I'm trying to
But
think.
I don't remember why. Because she didn't know
yeah.
that he was an original vampire.
Right.
Ha! Something Catherine didn't know. I didn't have him very often. Well, I know that he fed off of other vampires.
Yes.
Which was
so weird. Yeah.
Really weird. That surprised Catherine.
Ugh. I like when he wakes up and she's feeding him the blood. He's like, get it away from me.
That I thought for sure, like, oh, he must really be, a vampire hunter. That's really what it is. And even when he started drinking from Catherine, I was like, okay, well, I don't understand this, but
cannibalism.
That's what it felt like.
Vampires, not cannibalism. Vampires eating other vampires, cannibalism. This is how my head works.
I'd say that's accurate.
I agree.
Can a vampire be drained?
I would assume so.
It probably wouldn't kill them, would it?
No, because you remember they
it would just like
dry him out in tombs.
they just desiccate them or whatever for a while.
Yeah, desiccate. Exactly.
Until they got more blood to revive them.
Yep. So you just sit there thirsty for hundreds of years alive.
That'd be awful.
God.
Punishments.
I think what I didn't like about the ghost storyline, and I'm remembering now as I read through the notes, is that it's Jeremy and Anna's feelings for each other is what makes her visible to other people. Like that's when she starts to become visible, is when she can love him and he can love her. And then suddenly other people start seeing her and they can touch at that point. Like, really, it's love that makes you visible.
Yeah, I guess that's a little far-fetched. I don't know.
I think because this show is so much about like, I don't know, really dark stuff, that to have love be what makes her like, it's like feels too cakey.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of a nice break.
I never even thought about it. I don't know. I think I liked Anna, so I was like, oh, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I agree.
My note says bad witch took advantage and now anyone with unfinished business can come back. When I don't know the names of the characters, it's how I wrote. There was that one, I can't remember, it was Elijah's witch, the male one. I kept writing Elijah's boy witch, Elijah's male witch, the dude witch. Like there was no name. It was just, this is your gender and this is what supernatural being you are. That's it.
Is a boy witch a wizard though?
Depends on what story.
Warlock.
In this one, they're just witches. But in Charmed, they're warlocks, right?
A warlock is a male witch, yeah.
In Harry Potter, they're wizards. So it's just depends on what you're.
If he's a male witch, is he a wizard? Oh my gosh.
They are though.
Well, are they? Like, I'm really confused now. Okay,
Vampire
what's the
Diaries.
difference between a boy witch
In the Vampire
warlock,
Diaries,
and a wizard?
they're just witches either way. In the Vampire Diaries.
That's great.
Just giving up on us tonight. She knows we've completely lost our minds. What do you think, Tiffany?
I
What are they
watch way
called?
too many supernatural shows, and they're always different on each show.
Mhm.
I know. I don't know what to call them. All the supernatural TV shows need to get together and like agree on something.
Right? That'd be so helpful.
Like, do vampires sparkle? Do they not sparkle?
They definitely
compel?
don't sparkle.
They
They
don't
don't
compel. What? Can we
Well,
all
think
get
about
the
like
I think we
True
can all
Blood
agree that they
vampires.
don't sparkle.
yeah, True Blood vampires That's another
versus
great
Vampire
show.
Diaries. True Blood werewolves versus TVD werewolves. It's all very
Versus
different.
Twilight werewolves.
They're
I like Twilight
shapeshifters,
werewolves.
I
so
know.
that's a little different.
Yeah, Teen Wolf. I wasn't a huge fan of the wolves,
I don't like how they look. No.
but the way they look.
Oh,
I like the Twilight wolves. I
See,
guess
those,
the shape.
those are different. They're shapeshifters.
What was the difference?
that's the benefit of make believe, is that you can do whatever you want with it.
What are you talking about? Make believe.
This is real life.
Gosh, don't ruin my supernatural world I'm living in. It's my escape.
Well, then you can make it whatever you want.
Thank you. I'm going to.
All right, so moving on. Mason wants a Damon apology, and Alaric thinks it's hilarious. Like, you think you're gonna get an apology from Damon, do you?
No.
Not gonna happen.
Damon doesn't even apologize to people he likes.
Nope.
I'm gonna apologize to you, man. Because that's when Mason comes back from the dead, right?
Mhm.
And that's all he wants is a Damon apology. Oh, what a sad existence you must have left, that when you were dead, that's all you could think about. Damon better apologize to me.
Yeah, you're sorry. For killing me, torturing me. Big baby, get over it.
But this is the episode where this is the episode where they're all looking for the tools, because all those people can come through. And so there's this cave that Damon can't get in, but Mason is allowed to get in there. And Mason's like, you won't believe what I found. Damon says, what? And then Mason
he disappears. Yep. Yep.
And then who does he have going there?
Alaric.
That's right. Alaric. And then I think does Elena go in there too?
Probably. I just like Damon's expression, and like, you know, when Ian Smolderhander is swearing, but they're just like, nice editing makes it look like he's not, because that was one of the times when his mouth did the thing where his bottom lip went into his teeth and he just kind of went, but you know, he wasn't just making a sound there, he was saying a dirty word.
But he does it so well. He can say dirty words all he wants.
I was afraid where you were going with that. I was like, okay. I agree, but are we supposed to talk about that?
Tiffany, what you looking at over there?
We're 18 and up on our groups.
My daughter
know,
just
right?
woke up.
Oh,
You
I
just
just saw her move on the monitor and little eyes glowing.
oh no.
as we're talking about
That's why I did the
supernatural
double
things.
take, because I just looked over real quick and saw glowing eyes. Ugh. It always scares me when I look at the monitor and see the glowing eyes. I'm like, great, there's a demon in there.
Demon.
It's just a
Perfect.
werewolf. Their eyes glow when they hit it with light. Totally different. Totally normal.
See, told you they're real.
I think Demon describes her pretty well.
So it's Rebecca who gives Elena the story of the originals with Michael, the vampire hunter. So it's not until like episode 5? Oh, further than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's episode 7 when we find out the backstory of the originals.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that far in.
Me neither.
Mhm.
I felt like it was closer. Okay.
And that's where we find out that Esther was the original witch, who was their mom, who turned all the kids into the vampire to keep them alive. But Klaus was born from mom and a werewolf and then turned into a vampire.
Yes.
So mom cast the curse, but it was dad who fed the blood to them and killed them to turn them. Huh? No, you kind of wonder.
No. Did he kill them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
fed them
stabbed all of
vampire
them.
blood and then he killed them.
I mean, that makes sense. Duh.
You got to wonder.
Gotta
I
kill
mean,
him.
Esther, well, this man was asking you all the questions about how this curse works and all the things he had to do to turn his kids into vampires. Was there never a time when you thought maybe this is going in a bad direction?
Yeah. I mean, you would think.
Yeah.
You think, but I don't know. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah, she was just trying to protect them. I mean, that was probably the last time she did anything that was good, I guess. She's kind of a terrible mother otherwise, so.
I mean, to be fair, they were really, really terrible people once they became vampires. So she's trying to save all of humanity by extinguishing the darkness and evil that is in them. I mean, by you guys, Colin and Finn were not good.
No.
And Klaus and Elijah, I have a hard time thinking it's okay to kill Elijah. I have a really hard time with that.
Well,
A lot of people try.
he's had his moments. He was, I mean, early on, he's probably as bad as Klaus, like, if not worse. I mean, like, he's pretty bad.
He can be.
Mhm.
But he is like the more noble one of the family. He's
Yeah.
And he's
every girl loves Elijah.
Is he the second oldest? Because Klaus is the first oldest.
No,
Klaus
Klaus
isn't the
one of
first
younger
oldest.
ones. It's okay. Well, there's
keep it right.
Freya, which you don't know, and then Finn, Elijah, then Klaus. Klaus is in the middle. Cole, Rebecca, and then Hendrik, which is the one that died.
Okay. Yeah. I remember Hendrik dying was really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really sad.
That was really heartbreaking.
Mhm.
And his dad turning on that. Anytime they go back and seeing how Michael treated Klaus,
Yeah.
It really, I honestly think that's when I started liking Klaus, is because I was feeling so bad about how he was treated, and it made me feel for him, and it made me like him as a character.
You just understand him more than
You really do, and you're kind of like, well, you know what? If I was treated like this for 1,000 years, I might have a couple of screws up in my head loose.
Yeah, that was pretty horrible. Oh, and when his dad actually made Klaus cry at the door of the house, like, oh
my gosh.
Yes. You see,
see Joseph Morgan, when he gets sad, I mean, it's like nothing you've ever seen. Oh my gosh.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I didn't like his character, and I wanted to step in front of him and beat the crap out of Michael.
Well, see, now wait, once you watch the originals, you'll definitely want to, because you will like him. You will, I mean, there's no way you won't.
I'm probably never going to watch the originals.
Yes, you don't do that to me. You have to. I would say don't even finish the Vampire Diaries and just watch the originals. That's what I would say.
But Elena does tell Damon that he will be the one to save Stefan. She says it won't be because he loves me, but because he loves you, is what he says to Damon. Or what she says to Damon. I do too. And I think that's really good. And even at the end of season 3, when Damon says, I'm gonna be here. I didn't stop you. I watched you fall and I didn't do anything to stop you. And Stefan says, you couldn't have. Damon says, no, I could have. I just didn't want to. But now I do. And I'm going to be here for you, Stefan. I'm going to be here every second of every day until you don't need me anymore.
Yep.
And then Stefan says, why? And Damon says, because you're all I've got.
I know.
That's and that's exactly, like, even going back to the beginning of season 3, that's exactly what Elena was saying, is that there's a love those two have for each other that is, and even when he's talking to Klaus, and Klaus says, when Stefan's talking to Klaus, and Klaus is like, he's just trying to keep them separate. And Stefan says, all the stuff you're doing to keep David and I separate had the opposite effect. We're pretty close now. And then Klaus says, really? So then should we have Elena decide which Salvatore is going to stay here? And Stefan says, we've been through worse than you, and walks away. Like, yes. I think my favorite Stefan is not even Stefan with Elena. I think my favorite Stefan is one who's close to Damon.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
Because they're so good as brothers.
Yes. I like Stefan more after him and Elena break up.
Me too.
I do. Like, starting at Ripper Stefan and kind of going forward, I do like Stefan a lot more.
It's because you just saw him commit gory, horribly violent deaths. That's really what you like Stefan after that.
Maybe.
That's why all 3 of you weirdos. Tiffany's not saying so, but it's because she doesn't want to publicly indicate herself.
You guys, I gotta find this. You guys can talk, but I gotta find this video because I thought I've sent it before. Of when they're sitting there and they're talking like an interview back and forth, Ian and Paul. And he's like, I don't know about you, I'm crying every episode. I'd rather play Damon.
Oh, I did just see that.
Yeah.
And then Damon was like crying over your failed career, and Paul went, failed career, we're on the same show.
Totally opposite in real life, and that's what makes it so hilarious, is that Paul is like Damon.
It's funny.
I think the question was, what's it like to get all the action? Was what the question was. And Paul was like, action? All I do is cry.
Yeah.
Where did I see that? Did you send that somewhere?
I think I sent it because I was dying laughing over it the other day. I probably sent it to the Salvatore chat.
Yeah, if that must have been where I saw it. But I watched it a couple times. I was laughing. I like their relationship.
I do too. They're hilarious together in real life.
So my note on Michael is that Michael belittles, berates, and obliterates Klaus's emotional state.
That he does.
How I describe it. And even here, even in killing Michael, it's Damon who stakes him because he was trying to protect Stefan.
Yep.
And Stefan kind of gets mad about it at first, but then that's the other reason he couldn't turn Ripper off, because Klaus was compulsing him. Nope. Compulsing. That's not the word.
Compelling. Compulsing.
It sounded weird coming out of my mouth.
I like compulsing.
It was that moment that he released the compulsion on him because he's like, you've been a friend to me, so I'm going to release the compulsion.
Yeah,
Tyler
that's
brings
right.
it up too in the end of season 3 when he says, you didn't care about me. You just didn't want to be alone. That was all it was. You didn't give a damn about me. And that's, I mean, and Caroline calls him out on that too, around like episode 15-ish at that ball that Klaus invites her to at the Mickelson ball.
Yeah.
And she calls him out on everything. She hits him right where it hurts and is very, very honest about you don't know how to love anybody. You've never been loved, so you don't know how to love. That's why you try to buy people off. It's why you sire people. It's why you compel people. And I'm not here for it. And then he sent her that little like hand drawing picture of her with a horse.
Yeah.
That's a little cheesy to me, Klaus. That's a little too on the nose, man. And he says, thank you for your honesty, Klaus.
Yeah.
I know. He
And
loves
then never
painting,
stops trying to get her to want to be with him.
Mhm.
which is my favorite.
Yeah.
Klaus and Caroline.
I do kind of like them because when he saves her, Elena saves her from Alaric.
Mhm.
When he has her bound, Alaric has her bound after he turns into a vampire. And I didn't like Alaric as a vampire either.
No.
And Elena's threatening to kill herself and she runs out. And then Klaus says, we'll save Elena. You go somewhere safe. And you could tell that he's almost desperate that she stays safe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When he is at where he like comes up behind her and he's like, it's okay, it's me, love, or something like
Yeah.
that. That scene is one of my favorites because the way she just
Mhm.
instantly like just calms down, like she just knows she's safe, that he's there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been that's a huge crowd of fans is the Caroline and
Yeah.
Klaus
Caroline.
shippers.
Didn't you guys say that there was someone who was supposed to be his love interest in the originals and had to
Yeah.
quit because of
Yeah,
that?
she quit the show.
Yeah.
That's what someone told me, that she quit the show because she was getting hate mail from the Caroline Klaus shippers.
That is insane.
Which
to
is
me.
crazy.
They are fictional characters.
Yeah. Which she's my favorite ship for him. So it made me really mad when I heard that because I'm like, really? That's why I didn't get a happy ending from those? Because people like Amanda.
I didn't send any mail
Way to go,
though.
Amanda. Way to go.
I didn't know we were doing that, or I
derail
would
all
have.
our hopes and dreams.
Nobody gave me the memo we were mailing.
You're asking poor Leah.
Where are we at next?
Stefan steals all the coffins and then tells Klaus revenge never gets old. Now that is a Stefan I like.
Mhm.
He's still a little
I
bit
told you.
bad, but I like it when he screws Klaus over.
See, like him bad,
It's
just
good
not
stuff.
murdering people.
Yeah, I don't like them stabby.
Okay.
I like them.
I'm okay
Well,
with the
see,
stabby,
But
but
Stefan is only being bad there because Klaus deserved it.
yeah.
So it's only well-deserved retribution that I like. What are you doing?
Stabbing.
What? Stabbing.
You said you didn't like the stabby.
I was singing a song in my head. I was listening to you. I looked up a picture of Klaus for some reason. I was looking up something.
Because you just
And
want to
then-
gaze upon Klaus's face.
No, I'm
beautiful
actually
lips.
on Ursha's page now, his wife.
Oh. Which is
Who,
the one she
Fun
plays.
fact, played Bonnie's mom.
Mhm, that's his wife in real life. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Bonnie's mom and Klaus are married in real life.
I didn't know that. Did they meet on Vampire Diaries?
I think so. Mhm.
Oh. I'm sad she got turned into everybody in the show keeps getting turned into a vampire.
Yep. No, they met on the show and they've been married ever since.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like when Tyler is being compelled he was compelled through the Sire Bond to be wholly devoted to Klaus, and they have an intervention for him with Jeremy and Elena and Alaric, and Tyler just doesn't get it. He's like, has no idea why they're freaked out. Like, well, it's okay because it's okay. Yeah, I like doing what he wants me to do. It's totally normal. It's totally fine.
Oh my gosh.
So clueless.
And I don't know. I get a weird feeling from Dr. Phil.
I always did too when I was when I started
Yeah.
watching it. I always felt like she was going to turn. Maybe that's because she plays an evil character in every show that she plays in. But
I mean, Melissa is not a very nice person.
It's Nanny Carrie that we're all worried about over here.
it's
Nanny
One Tree
Carrie.
Hill.
Oh,
She's like super evil there. Yeah.
Very. You call her
Kate
crazy.
has that
Crazy
face.
Carrie.
I can go either direction.
I mean, everything I've seen her in, she was insane. So whenever I saw her in Vampire Diaries, I was like, oh, here we go again.
I mean,
I thought
she's
the
a
same
little
thing.
more stable in this show, I think, than other things I've seen her in. But like even, and I get why she's using vampire blood. It's stupid and it's dumb. And I mean, think things through a little bit, you idiot. But when Elena is in that car accident, and oh my gosh, first of all, when Alaric dies and Damon's the one who's with him, and Damon
Mhm.
starts to cry because he knows exactly what that means. And then Jeremy sees him as a ghost. He's like, oh my God, you're a ghost. But that means, and so everyone's upset. And then Dr. Fell runs out to Damon and she says, I lied to Jeremy when I said Elena had a concussion. It wasn't that, it was a cerebral hemorrhage. And I saved her. Like, oh, you idiot. And
It needed
Damon's
to
whole
happen, though.
face is like contorted. And
Yeah.
I don't like it when Damon is that sad. Him and Stefan, I don't like it when they make their sad faces.
Right.
They're hard to look at.
I was happy she was a vampire though, so it didn't make me upset at all.
See, I've seen clips of Elena as a vampire because I never went past season 3. I've never really seen, I like Catherine as a human because
Yeah.
I've seen those clips and that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I've never really seen clips of Elena as a vampire. Well, I mean, she was, but
Mhm.
not noticeably a vampire.
Yeah.
I prefer her as a human, but it needed to happen to get her tolerable for me. Like,
See,
I
I
don't
think
know.
I would have liked her a lot better if she was vampire earlier on.
Was she more decisive as a vampire?
mm, I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
So what was it about her as a vampire that you liked over her being a human?
More ballsy. I liked
Yeah.
it when she turned her humanity off.
Yeah. Oh well,
Of
now
course
that
you
is
did.
one. I do not like Elena without humanity. I don't really care for it.
I liked it when she turned it back on as well, but I liked
She let loose. Yeah.
like bad Elena because she's always just been like this, like I'm so good, I'm so innocent feeling to
Mhm.
me. That whenever she did turn her humanity off, it was kind of like we got to see a whole nother
Yeah.
side of her, which was like, well, I mean, she was Catherine. I mean, who are we joking?
Yeah.
Forgot you like Catherine.
I love Catherine.
I do too.
She's in my top 5 favorites,
Same.
and which is funny because Elena's in one of
Like
my
at the bottom.
at the bottom.
This note says Jeremy's life is in the balance again in all
Again.
capital letters at 16.
Always. Poor Jeremy.
And Damon compels Jeremy to go be a kid. Elena recognizes her need for Damon. Damon feels guilty for wanting Stefan's girl. Then he kisses her.
Is that where he says, like, if I'm gonna feel guilty, I'm
Mhm.
gonna have a reason to feel, or I'm gonna do something to feel guilty for?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he smooches her.
She likes
Oh.
it.
Wait, did we pass over the scene where he gives her back the necklace and he like tells her all the romantic stuff and then he compels her to forget it? Or is that later on? When is
That
that?
happened in season 2.
Yeah, I think it happened
Oh,
in the end
did
of
it?
season 2. Maybe.
Because
Never
that's
mind,
when
ignore
he
me.
tells her how he feels about her. And then he
That's my
says, and you're
fault.
never going to remember this. And
That's
then
one
he,
of my
Yeah.
favorite scenes.
Was that in season 2?
I think
Mhm.
it is, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind then. I was gonna say that's one of my favorites too.
Mhm.
And of course, Klaus's bond causes Tyler to lose Caroline because Caroline's not here for that.
Yeah.
And that's when, because Klaus tells him to bite her. And then he
Mhm.
did. And then he was really upset that he did bite her. And I think that was the turning point for Tyler of, this isn't a good thing. This isn't a good thing.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for Tyler when he did that because he so clearly didn't want to do
Didn't
it.
want to. Yeah.
And I cannot stress enough how much I love Tyler and Caroline together.
I did too.
Yeah. Same. I liked I mean, if I couldn't have Caroline with Klaus. Caroline and Tyler are my next favorites together. But other than who she did end up with, I'm not all about that.
So did Caroline and Klaus ever actually get together?
They get together once.
They don't have a relationship. They just have intimacy.
Yep.
Trying to think now. Like in the forest, are you talking about, Jeanette?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember when that happens though.
I don't either.
Season 4, maybe? It's after the originals has already started. He comes back. So
yeah.
For like an episode. Yeah.
Well, then she's in the originals. So
yeah. So yeah, she's there off and on.
Yeah.
I like the relationship between Sheriff Forbes and Damon too.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
one of my favorite friendships. I love it.
It is. Damon's his friendships. I love his friendships. He is Damon is Damon. He makes an awesome friend once he
he decides that you're worth his time.
Yep.
Him and Alaric, and then him and Enzo, him and Bonnie, all of them, I think.
Yeah.
Really good friendships.
Him and Bonnie's friendship is my favorite.
I love it.
I do. Yeah. I know that in season 2, there was a lot of funny moments between as he started to be with Bonnie and he kept calling her the witch.
Yeah. It's
after they go to the prison world, it's really
which I think is like season 5.
Well, even in this season when when Elena was in the woods with Elijah and she said when he said you were lying to me then about what Esther's plans were, he said you're lying to me now, and she said I really wish there was some way that I could help you. Yeah. And Elijah was like, I've noticed in this world that one thing you have to be careful for is what you wish for. And then he, took her down, and they found out the only way to save Elena was to stop one of the witches. And as Klaus is telling that to Stefan and Damon, he's like, Stefan went, does that mean? And Damon went, yeah, it means, and like he made that sound like he kind of made a face, but you could tell that Damon didn't want to have to kill one of them off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they came up with a solution to turn her mom into a vampire, but even as early as season 3, like he didn't really like the prospect of killing off Bonnie if he didn't have to.
Right.
Exactly. He knew he loved Elena, and he knew that Bonnie was important to Elena. And so he wouldn't let anything happen to Bonnie, nor would he let anything happen to Caroline or Tyler or Matt.
Yeah.
Because
or Jeremy, except for when he snaps his neck over and over again.
It's okay. He has a ring.
Yeah.
And it's even in this season where Damon is telling Bonnie that he and Elena kissed. So even Damon is like kind of confessing some things to Bonnie in this season. Dr. Fell captures and sedates Damon. She vervained him with blood, jacked him, then blood jacked him. What the hell does that mean?
Blood jacked him.
She vervained him, then blood jacked him.
Sure.
Oh, that's when Bill, I think, was injured, and Dr. Fell somehow she knocked Damon out using vervain, and then she took his blood so she can give her blood to the patients because she realized
that's right.
Damon was a vampire. Blood jacked him. Is that something Damon said, or is that something I just made up?
I think he made it up, but it works.
It works.
Oh, and poor Tyler too, when he's seeking help from Bill for how to be uncompelled because Bill is compulsion resistant. And he has to continue to transform and transition over and over until there's no pain.
Yep.
So sad.
Oh gosh.
I mean,
they
that's
really
what I'm
do
saying.
screw Tyler over, man.
They really do.
Vampire Diary werewolves, I mean, they have it really bad. It's so painful for them.
Yeah. They don't make it easy for the werewolves in the show.
No.
They're like at the bottom of the totem pole in like the supernatural
It is called
world.
Vampire Diaries, so they're kind of at the top of the totem pole.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, in any supernatural show, I feel like the werewolf is kind of pegged down.
Yeah.
True.
It's true.
Now that I'm thinking about it. Except Teen Wolf.
Because that's all there is.
So at the end of episode 11, which is where we're at, so we're about oh my gosh, we're only halfway through. We got to speed this up. My note says Elijah's back and Klaus looks scared.
That's because Elijah's badass.
Yes, he is.
Oh yeah.
We talked about all of that. Elijah and Klaus tell Damon and Stefan of the sunny girl they loved, whose blood. Oh, that's right, because their dad gave them the girl they both loved. And that was at the dinner where Stefan and Damon are like, been through that before. That was mean too. I mean, could there have been anybody else whose blood you chose to do other than the one that they both loved? Like, how? That's just cruel.
He's terrible.
Oh yeah.
And I think Esther's beautiful too. I actually do like Esther kind of.
Mm-hmm. I don't.
I know why you guys don't like her, but I get why she wants to kill them all.
It's later. I mean, I think at this point in time, I didn't have such an issue with her, but I mean, I get clouded by like the originals because she's pretty awful later on. So
is she?
Yeah.
It's
And
hard
she only
to
appears towards the end of episode 11. She appears.
Yeah.
Or 12 and 12. So she was only in episode or season 3 for 10 episodes, and not even the full time is she in there. And the other thing I want to say about Stefan and Elena and Damon in that triangle is that she can't make up her mind, but they don't really force her to either. Like, instead of forcing her to, they both take her to the Mickelson ball. Like, are you for real? Can you just make this girl choose between the two of you?
Mm-hmm.
I suppose the last time they tried to make that forced, it didn't end well.
Right.
But still, like,
the way she walks in, like with both of them on her arms,
yes.
like I know.
It's so messed up. And then it's to the point where at the end, Stefan has to say to Damon, listen, if she chooses you, I'll leave town so you can happily be with her. And then Damon says, and then at 60 years or so, we'll come back together and we'll live as brothers again. And then he waits a minute. Stefan doesn't say anything. And then Damon says, all right, if she chooses you, I'll leave town too.
Yes. No, definitely not happening. But I don't know. I mean, the main saying in the show is, or Catherine's saying is, it's okay to love them both. I did.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge thing in the show. So, I mean, she loves. She loves them both.
I think that what she was meaning there is there's different kinds of love. And I think she wanted to be with Stefan romantically. And I think she just cared whether or not Damon lived or died.
Yeah.
Like she loved him more familially and she loved Stefan more romantically.
Yeah, I agree.
But Elena wanted them both romantically.
Yes.
And she just went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth constantly. And even when Stefan
was
like,
different with Damon though.
She was. And I think when Rose comes back as a ghost and talks to Jeremy,
I love that part.
and she says that Damon challenges Elena and he surprises Elena.
Yeah.
And that's good. But Stefan will always be good for her because Stefan's love is pure. I don't know that you can take that advice of the ghost fully because Stefan's love isn't always good for her, apparently. Because when he was Ripper Stefan, it wasn't a good thing. And it tortured her.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. But I think that she needed to choose way sooner than she did. And when Stefan in this season, when he says something along the lines of, you love Damon. And she says, no, Stefan, I love you. And I think that's the biggest annoyance is that everyone else can see it. Everyone else is telling you, listen, you have feelings for this guy. It's why you keep making out with him.
I mean, she's lying to herself.
Exactly. She won't even entertain the idea. But if she would, then she would stop screwing Stefan around. And when she said that, he's like, listen, I love you. I'm always going to love you, but can you look me in the eye and tell me you don't have any feelings for him?
Yeah.
And then there's just like straight silence. It would be less painful if you opened your mouth and said something. And she's silent so long that Stefan actually closes his eyes and like puts his head down for a minute. Like,
Yeah.
and then she still chooses Stefan over Damon.
She's in denial because Damon's bad for her, you know?
Yep.
And I don't think he is.
No. I think you were looking, I did quotations because I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think he is, but I think from the outside,
But you're right.
like,
She thinks that though.
she thinks he is. But it, like when we were, you know, like you were talking about Rose's advice, like I'm not sure that it was even correct because I mean, Damon would never hurt her. I mean, from the moment that they're together, I don't think he would ever do anything to hurt her. So I think he's the one that was good for her.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
being challenged and surprised is good in love.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Stefan was safe.
Yeah.
And not
that's
even
what it
really.
is.
He just appeared to be the safe choice.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was that one point when when Damon told Stefan, she chose you, it's always going to be you. Probably for the best. I'm better at being the bad guy anyway. And that's just the idea that everyone has about Damon.
That's what it is.
He does all these good things, but even Damon himself doesn't want people to realize that he's doing
Right.
these good things, because I think that if he's given too much credit, then there's gonna be a lot expected of him.
Mm-hmm.
But look at all the times he helps out Sheriff Forbes when he doesn't have to do that.
Right. No. I
We're
agree.
almost to the end here. We literally have been going through every episode. So guys, if you are not following along, then you have not seen season 3. So you should probably go watch season 3. Because we've been going episode by episode by episode. I like when Klaus gets, it's after the Mickelson ball, and he gets Caroline to come over by him. He's like, "Come on, get to know me. I dare you." He's just trying all these different tactics to get her to look at him, to like him, to pay attention to him, to get to know him. And she smiles and she says, "I'm too smart to be seduced by you." And he says, "Well, see, now that's what I like about you."
Mm-hmm. I do like them together a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. There's goods, there's ups and downs, there's bads.
Yeah, I wish we had been given a chance to really see them together.
I agree.
Mhm. Yeah. But then the other bad thing about that is that Tyler comes back right when Klaus is starting to get interested in Caroline, and
Yeah.
Caroline's going to turn to Tyler.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Alaric a little bit, because I think that'll take us right through to the end.
Okay.
Bad Alaric.
Oh, bad
I
Alaric.
don't
I don't
like
bad
bad Alaric.
No.
Alaric, that might be the one person that I don't enjoy the dark form of more than the good one.
Same.
It doesn't work for me.
No.
Same.
Yeah.
Because he was bad. Like, he was a bad
Yeah.
vampire. You know, he wasn't like a good
Not even
vampire.
just as a vampire. Before he was turned into a vampire, when he had that alter ego
Yeah.
Mhm.
that would come
That
out.
too.
Oh, man.
Like, he even tried to kill Dr. Fell because she
Yeah.
was dealing with vampire blood, and it was all because I get that part of it was Esther was coaching him how much he hated
Right.
vampires.
Mhm.
So anyone who tried to save them for whatever reason was demonic in his eyes. But then there was that scene in Elena's house, because he was Elena's guardian, right?
Mhm.
After that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's still for a minute, and then he happens to look up at Elena just for a second, and Stefan had caught from behind that he was going to kill Elena.
Yeah.
And so that was right after he tried to kill Dr. Fell.
Yep.
And then it was Esther who made him drink Elena's blood. Now, what was the benefit of drinking Elena specifically?
She was creating an original vampire. She was making him an original vampire.
I know
right?
he was, but why did it have to be Elena specifically?
Because it has to be the blood of the doppelganger.
Oh, that doppelganger thing is really more trouble than it's worth, isn't it?
Yeah. It really is.
And yeah, I mean, the doppelganger storyline gets deeper and deeper the more you watch.
Yeah.
Vampire
And that's why that was key for them to drink the blood of the girl that, we talked about that Elijah and Klaus loved, because she was a doppelganger. So
that's didn't she look like Catherine?
Yes.
yes.
That's right.
Is that Amara? Or was that the other
No,
one?
Amara's the first one. So this one is right. Amara's the original one, isn't it? Or maybe not. No, I don't remember.
But that
What is the other-
that was pretty hard. And then when Alaric finally decides, listen, I'm not going to complete this transition. I'm not going to use my hatred. I was a bad enough guy. When they find out that that white oak can kill them still, and it'll kill a whole line. There's a scene when it was after Stefan took out Alaric, after when he tried to kill Elena, and Damon's in the room, and he's like, yeah, so we're gonna go on a kind of house arrest. Just gonna pick up some things, we're gonna go to the loft, just gonna hang out. And then in the loft, you see Damon, I called it whittling, but he was just making a steak. But when they pan out and you see there is a massive pile of wood shavings, that is like a huge pile of wood shavings at his feet. That's all he's doing. He's just making steak after steak after steak. And then when he finds out it can kill a whole line, he's like, are you telling me that your evil vampire hating alter ego has a steak that could kill my entire line? And Alaric's very honest at that point, but I was so proud that he decided, I'm not going to become a vampire. It's not going to happen. You're going to lock me up. I was already a bad guy. I'm going to be worse as a vampire.
Yeah.
And is that when he goads Stefan into beating him up? Right. It's when he's locked up. He's refused to turn to a vampire.
Oh yeah. Well, that's because there wasn't nowhere he hid the steak. And so they needed him to turn into that guy to remember where he put it.
Oh yeah. And then he was like, he smiled and he's like, it's in a cave where no vampire can get it. But then the stupid witches get into Bonnie through her dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And Bonnie is the one who turns Alaric.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ugh.
I hated that. I hated
There
that
were
she had to
times-
do that.
I know. There were times where Bonnie, all of her witch nonsense got on my nerves.
Mm-hmm. In this episode, when she switched and she had Klaus go into Tyler, Klaus / Tyler was like, those spirits aren't going to happen. And she's like, I'm done being run by those spirits. Yeah, well, we could have used that gumption like 3 days ago.
Right.
That would have been great.
You're a little too late.
But you can see that Klaus admires Elena when Alaric is over him with the steak. And Elena's got the knife to her throat. And Alaric says, don't do it. And then she says all the things that she has just in that moment figured out. And Klaus actually looks at her like, wow, look at you. So after that happened, after all that whole mess with Alaric and with her, she falls in her room and they say it was just a concussion and it was actually cerebral hemorrhage. So Dr. Fell gets her blood, and then Rebecca talks to Stefan and says, listen, the deal's off. The only way to kill Alaric is to kill Elena. So that's our plan now. We're going to kill Alaric. So, and then she stands in the road and they go off the road. And this is, of course, right after the phone call to Damon saying, I care for you so much. I have to let you go. And then she begs Damon to save Matt. She begs Stefan to save Matt. Now, I do have a question. There was a point in time when you see Elena in the road in a purple shirt and jeans, and Damon comes up and he says, Catherine? She says, no, I'm Elena. And she's on her phone. And then she says, he said, I know you want. She says, what do I want? He tells her all these things and he compels her to say,
love that consumes you.
Yes. And then she says, that'll be my parents. They're on their way.
Yeah.
When did that did he actually meet her beforehand?
Because when she dies, all of the compulsion wears off.
Oh yeah.
So that was actually the same night that she met. Or the same night that her parents died. She met him.
It's known that Damon and Elena met before
because they mentioned that I think one time they say something like, maybe if I'd met you first, and of course
That was
he
in that
knows
episode.
that you did meet me first, but at
In the
time,
phone
she
call
doesn't-
where she tells him, I care for you
Yeah.
too much, I gotta let you go. That's where they said.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ooh, she's gonna be pissed when some of that compulsion wears off.
Right. But I love that line that he says to her, like,
Mhm.
about finding passion and all of
Mhm.
that stuff. Because
Yeah.
it's so true. I mean, he
Mhm.
could tell just by like meeting her that one time that that's what she wanted.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I forget that. So then we end season 3 with Elena taking a breath of air
Mhm.
because she just woke up a vampire.
Yes.
Yay!
The other thing too is that when Bonnie's mom is turned into a vampire to save Elena, it's Caroline who brings her blood and tries to talk to her and tries to
Mhm.
get her to stay instead of leave. And there was one line from Caroline when she says, you left her before and you missed out on so much, and now you have an eternity to make it up, and you're just going to throw it all away. So
Yeah.
Caroline has become like one of my favorite people, one of my favorite characters in the show.
Definitely. Yeah.
So I'm waiting for Bonnie's new fella to be killed off.
I don't know. I feel like it happens because I don't remember what happens to him, but I
don't remember what happens to him either.
If he doesn't die, he leaves her. I don't know which is better.
he doesn't stick around.
He's not around long. Nobody is with Bonnie.
Poor Bonnie.
Poor Bonnie. Man.
All right.
Sucks.
So that is season 3. We've talked your ear off about it. We went through 22 episodes in just about 2 hours. Is there anything that you guys can think of that we missed that might be pertinent to season 3?
I don't think so.
I don't think
Proud of
so.
myself for leading the charge on season 3.
Good job.
You did good job.
I know.
I'll watch season 4 and take notes. I don't mind watching season 4.
I know. I love season 4. I think I love season 4 and 5. So I'm kind of excited.
Now, Tiffany, are you still in the middle of season 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
Y'all are gonna have to get on it. We're gonna send messages to you all every single day. Have you watched any Vampire Diaries?
Take notes while you're going to for us for future podcasts.
Actually, I found those recap videos on YouTube are really helpful.
They give you
Yeah.
all that you
Mhm.
need. It's really good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for tonight, guys. We are going to be running our podcast a little differently as we take sort of a break leading up to the new shows, and watch for a little blurb about that. We'll put out a little video saying how things are going to work in the interim. It's going to be kind of our break. We're going to divide our podcast into seasons that way. And we'll put that out to you. Once we know exactly how it's going to be scheduled, we'll let you know how it's going to be scheduled. So next week, we are going to be talking Sweet Magnolias and Bridgerton, I think, our next week. I think Bridgerton will come out on Sunday and Sweet Magnolias on Wednesday. And then until new shows return, it'll be just Sweet Magnolias and Ginny and Georgia. So if those are shows you watch, we'd love to have you listen along. If they're not shows you watch, listen along anyway, because we might have some margaritas for the Sweet Magnolia ones. And I think these ladies with margaritas in the system will be really entertaining. So nothing else, just come on to watch that or hear that. So remember, if you have any questions for us, you want to reach out to us, you want to tell us how we're doing or give us some feedback, some criticism, which by the way, we love, you can reach out to us on our email, familyfanclub2021@gmail.com. You can find us in our Facebook group, which is the Vampire Diaries Salvatore Family Fan Club. That's our Vampire Diaries group. We also have a page for our podcast called Fandom Family Chats. You can find that. We are on Instagram and Twitter as, what is our exact title on those, Jeanette? I always say
It's
some
at
variation of
Family-
Family Fan Clubs.
Yeah, at Family Fan Clubs.
Okay, so
Hmm.
there's that. And then we have a TikTok.
Mhm.
Where it's FB Family Fan Clubs. So Jeanette is our TikTok master. She puts out there's some Vampire Diaries videos on there, so go check it out.
There's several, actually. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's it. And we will see you guys in a week. So have a good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.